The Indian smart TV sector hit a hard ceiling in 2024, but 2025 triggered a structural rewrite of the entire market. This chart shows the projected unit sales trajectory for the Indian market. We see estimated sales of 11.5 to 12.5 million units in 2025, with forecasts climbing to 13 million units in 2026. This growth is driven by a macroeconomic mechanism known as techflation. A strategic reduction in the goods and services tax on larger screens incentivized consumers to upgrade, causing the baseline price and feature set of a standard television to inflate. Consumers are skipping compact models as baseline expectations for resolution, processing, and size permanently shift upward. To map this new baseline, we examine the data matrix of 169 product launches across 31 brands in 2025. The data points to a singular conclusion: the era of the compact budget smart TV is officially over. In its place is a rigid, higher-cost standard for 2026. For anyone operating within the consumer electronics supply chain, understanding the exact specifications of this new standard is a requirement for survival. Historically, the entry point for most households was the base segment, screens between 32 and 40 inches. This histogram tracks 2025 TV launches. The 32 to 40-inch column shows a near-total collapse, recording just 4 launches. Manufacturers migrated heavily into the 41 to 55-inch mid-segment, capturing 70 launches and 41% market share. This 41 to 55-inch bracket is the definitive new mass-market standard. Manufacturers have stopped marketing basic specifications, shifting to lifestyle-driven branding focused on immersive experiences. On the far right, the Luxe segment for screens over 75 inches displays a low launch volume of just 23 models. However, this small grouping captures 36% of the total market value. That 36% revenue capture is isolated exclusively within the price band above 1 lakh rupees, targeting high-net-worth individuals and dedicated home cinema enthusiasts. Notably, standard audio output for many of these premium models remains stagnant at 20 watts. This indicates a deliberate reliance on external soundbar ecosystems to complete the home theater setup. Original equipment manufacturers are aggressively stripping away low-margin volume options. By doing so, they force consumers into an upward screen size upgrade path, protecting and expanding industry profitability. External dimensions only tell part of the story. The internal architecture and operating systems have undergone an equally severe consolidation. On the software side, the era of fragmented Android TV support is ending, accelerated by changes to app support protocols. The Google TV interface has achieved near-total saturation across these new models, establishing itself as the mandatory operating system moving forward. The internal hardware floor has also been raised. The standard now requires a 4K panel, a quad-core processor, and 16 gigabytes of storage. Consequently, 8 gigabyte storage configurations are now strictly confined to entry-level models, and 1080p Full HD resolution is being entirely phased out. Driving 4K resolution requires a robust data pipeline, forcing baseline connectivity protocols to upgrade for high-bandwidth streaming. Legacy standards like Bluetooth 4.2, single-band Wi-Fi, and HDMI 1.4 are disappearing. In their place, HDMI 2.1, dual-band Wi-Fi 5, and Bluetooth 5.0 are the new mainstream defaults. High-end features like 120 Hz refresh rates, updating the image 120 times per second, are expanding beyond niche gaming displays into standard mid-range lineups. The technical definition of a minimum viable product has permanently inflated. The barrier to entry for budget-conscious consumers is now permanently higher. This rising baseline has split the competitive landscape into 2 distinct camps: legacy defenders and value disruptors. Industry leaders Samsung and LG focus their efforts on defending their grip over the ultra-premium end of the spectrum. They build an economic moat using proprietary neural processing units, specialized chips designed to accelerate complex machine learning tasks. Brands use these NPU chips, like Samsung's NQ4 and LG's Alpha 11, to run real-time AI image upscaling. Samsung alone leveraged this top-down strategy to dominate the launch volume, releasing 39 new models and capturing 24% of the total market releases. Conversely, challenger brands like Blaupunkt and VW are executing a bottom-up disruption strategy. Instead of proprietary silicon, they are carving out a new, affordable premium segment by democratizing expensive hardware. This matrix illustrates the divide. The top right quadrant relies on AI, while challengers in the bottom right populate with Blaupunkt and VW, integrating physical upgrades directly against the mid-tier standard. They use technologies like Mini LED, which utilizes thousands of tiny diodes for localized backlight control to create deeper blacks and higher contrast. Top brands are attempting to sell the invisible software layer of artificial intelligence, while challengers are forcing top-tier physical hardware specifications down the pricing ladder. Behind these consumer-facing feature wars is an equally aggressive shift in the back-end manufacturing supply chain. Analyzing launch timing reveals peak activity heavily clustered in April and July, accounting for over a third of the year's total releases. By contrast, the fourth quarter saw a severe drop-off, recording only 6 launches. This indicates a strategic move away from relying on late-year holiday sales to drive hardware adoption. More critically, we must look at where these models were assembled. Out of the 169 models analyzed, 105 were produced entirely within proprietary domestic facilities. Compare that massive domestic volume with the imported models, sitting at a negligible total of just 13 units. India has successfully isolated its smart TV supply chain, transitioning almost entirely into a self-reliant production and assembly hub. All of these isolated data points, the hardware upgrades, the collapsed tiers, the domestic production, funnel directly back to the macroeconomic reality of techflation. The tension resulting from these 169 product launches is straightforward. Consumers can no longer easily locate or purchase a basic compact television screen. By deliberately eradicating the sub-40-inch market, manufacturers have created a forced upgrade path. Furthermore, with the Google TV interface achieving platform homogeneity, brands can no longer differentiate on software alone. They are forced to compete strictly on panel size and high-end hardware integration. Looking into 2026, features like AI upscaling, 55-inch form factors, and premium panel technologies are no longer positioned as luxuries. They are the baseline consumer expectations. The budget smart TV is a relic. Survival in the 2026 market requires complete adaptation to an ecosystem defined by artificial intelligence, immersive large-format displays, and increased consumer expenditure.